Hi, friends. So, this week is a big week. And I mean literally a big week. Because I got this big boy, which you can't even see, so let me zoom out even further. Sorry, you're going to be able to see the sides of my table for a while. Anyway, I got this LOKLik iPaint. And from what I can tell, it's a DIY paint-by-number machine. Apparently, you can take a photo and turn it into a paint-by-number, which sounds amazing. I haven't opened it yet or really even read much about how it works, so we're going to go on this journey together. So let's open this thing up so that I can fix my camera setup, because it's really bugging me. Oh boy. Okay, first we have this envelope, which has installation instructions and some QR codes. Glad those were right on top. Then we have all the pieces of the machine, some tools, pens, paintbrushes, the paint, and that's it. I'm going to pull all of this out so that we can get rid of the box. I also discovered a power cord, a USB cord, tape, and some canvas. Now, putting this machine together seems sort of scary with this little computer connection thing hanging out, but this part actually wasn't that bad. You just connect the little cord between the two parts, then snap the two pieces together, insert a screw that came in the bag of tools, screw it in with the screwdriver that came in the box, and then cover the screw with a little rubber piece. Now, it doesn't say it in the directions, but logic tells me that you also need to attach the power cord. There's a piece of tape on this bar that I'm guessing I'm going to need to remove, but it also doesn't say anything about that either. The rest of the instructions just say connect to the app, install a pen, and a canvas. So let's connect to the app. The QR code on the box takes you to their website where you can download their app, Idea Studio. Then from here, I can connect the machine. It does come with a USB cord, but the app says that you can connect via Bluetooth, so I'm going to do that. Now, I don't know why, but it took me like 5 tries to turn this thing on. I didn't have any trouble with it anytime I turned it on after this, but the first few times that I pressed the power button, it just made a noise and then did nothing. When it actually finally turns on though, the light on the power button will stay on and the little bar will move back and forth. Then connecting to it was easy. Now, what do I do? This app is not very intuitive at all. I mean, I spent a lot of time scrolling and clicking things, trying to figure out what I was doing. It does seem like the app is kind of a hub for all of their different machines, which would be great if you knew what you were doing, but I don't, so I'm struggling. Eventually, I was able to upload an image from my files, and I just settled on this picture of a chameleon that I got off Pexels. I figured the colors would look pretty good. But from here, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. There's all these image processing options, but nothing that says anything about a paint by number. So I went back to this card of QR codes and tried this one that says it has more detailed product usage. It takes you to a website where way at the bottom, there are some user manuals. In these, there's some pretty helpful information about the lights on the machine, finally a place that says to peel that tape off, and some device calibration and troubleshooting info, among other things. So first, I'm going to go with a blue heat erasable pen. There's marks on the side of the pen where the little rubber pen holder lines up, and apparently you choose the mark based on the thickness of whatever you're drawing on. The machine actually says that you can draw on wood, cards, fabric, paper, and more. Okay, so I was so mind-boggled at the time that I didn't catch it, but while I was watching this back, the instructions say that the pen will usually be set at mark B and be set to mark A for substrates thicker than 15 millimeters. And the canvas board that I'm going to use here is not that thick, so I think that I used the wrong mark. Just keep that in mind. So I got out an 8x8 canvas board for this first one. Then I'm going to install the pen. The rubber holder is set to mark A already, so I'll just leave that there. I'll make sure the pen works, put it into the holder, and tighten the clamp. Now, the canvas, it says that it needs to align with this mark on the machine, but also have the pen at the top left corner. But the pen isn't actually in line with the mark, so that's helpful. I'm just gonna shoot for somewhere close. Now I'm ready to go, I think. Except in the app, I'm getting a weird message when I try to make the picture that says the image has no vector outline, whatever that means. I spent a lot of time off camera trying to find a help section for the app, but I just couldn't find anything. And this machine is pretty new, so it's not like there's a lot of people talking about it online. Eventually, I got it figured out. Kind of. Okay, so when I uploaded the image, I did this AI smart remover, which seems like it just removes the background, so feel free to skip that step. Then I clicked Next up top. And for the operation type, I clicked Painting Machine and Oil Painting, which is the least helpful name since we're doing an acrylic painting, but whatever. I chose a medium difficulty and generated the picture. Then let's design it. I'll set him to the right size for the canvas and then hit Make. We'll choose Paint by Number, next, choose a 48 color paint set and click Generate. There's a PDF here and I'm not sure what that is, but let's download it just in case. Then next we can choose the pen we're going to use and the substrate. There's a few different options and you can add your own custom one. There's a section where it says pen down, but I'm not exactly sure what that number relates to, so I'm just going to leave it as is. I hit the pen down button and then the pen comes down to make sure it touches the canvas. When you click preview, it makes the pen draw a square around the canvas to make sure that it fits. And then we're good to hit make. Watching it draw is interesting. It seems to be making a lot of useless little dots, if I'm honest, but the app does say that this is going to take about 2 hours, so maybe it'll all come out with some meaning. But I don't really want to sit here and watch this for 2 hours, so I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, after it finished, it does look like a chameleon, but not really a paint by number. I don't know that I can actually tell what most of the numbers are, and some of these sections are tiny. Not gonna lie, this looks really intimidating. And this was only medium difficulty. I think I'm gonna try another one. So next, I wanted to try the app on my computer, which of course is set up completely differently. So I played around a little bit off camera to save you the pain of being confused with me. There are a few tabs at the top of the app, and to the best that I can figure out, here's what each one does. The iPaint gallery is their game of sorts. From what I can tell, you print a paint by number that they assign, paint it, upload a picture, and then you move up in levels. And as you move up, the paintings get harder and you get more options. The images were really cute, and if you love paint by numbers, that sounds fun, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. Canvas is where we design our painting. The library tab has a bunch of different images that you can use, and if you use this oil painting filter right here, it gives you lots of options ready to go. Then the My Zone tab seems to be where you can find your saved projects. Now, I wanted to paint something out of a picture that I actually took, so of course I tried to make a painting of Bella. But I think the picture just wasn't bright enough or something because it came out kind of muted. So I tried this design option on the side that says AI transfer. Now there are options in the app to create completely AI generated images, but I absolutely don't want to do that. But this option says that it will just transfer my image to a new style. So I tried a few different ways to cutify Bella, and you can see it's not great. Even though I tried a few different pictures and settings, it basically turned her into a different dog. So then I tried a few different pictures of my niece, and while they came out cute, they just don't even look like the same child. The before and after barely relate to one another. I decided to try this one because it was the cutest version that I got, and it seemed like a fairly simple thing to paint, I thought. But the app still made me convert it to oil painting, and even at the most difficult level, it destroyed her face. Ugh. So I'm just gonna go with this picture of Evelyn, which is an adorable picture, but after converting it to oil painting and then to paint by number, it kind of makes her look, in the words of my dad, melted. But we're gonna go with it. Now, this time, I'm actually going to use a stretched canvas, so I created a custom canvas, putting in the measurements. I'm going to try the gel pen this time, which is not heat erasable, but the tip is super tiny, and the instructions say that it should be better for finer lines. I set the mark to mark A. I checked the pen tip, kind of going back and forth with the thickness to see if the pen touched the canvas. Then, when I hit preview, all was good until this lower left corner, when the pen gouged the heck out of the canvas. So I went back to adjusting the pen again, moving it up and down, over and over, testing the settings until it didn't touch at all, and then moving it back one setting. Then I rotated the canvas and retaped it. If this works, I'll just paint over where the gouge is. I previewed it again, and everything seemed good, so I hit start. And then I had to immediately stop it because the pen wasn't touching completely. So I adjusted the pen depth from 0.5 to 1, previewed again, and started again. It seemed good at first, but the pen still wasn't touching everywhere. So I adjusted the pen depth to 1.5, but nope, let's try the pen at 2. And this one actually seemed like it was going well, for a while. You can see up near the corner, it's good. But when you get down further into the canvas, the pen isn't touching anymore. I'm afraid that if I keep upping the depth, it's going to rip certain parts of the canvas closer to the edge. I have no idea what the problem is or how to fix it, so I'm going to switch out the stretched canvas for the canvas that they included in the box. I didn't want to use this because I have no idea what to do with it afterwards. Like, how do you mount it for display? Do I have to stretch it over a frame? But I'm getting super frustrated, so we're gonna try this. I taped it down to the table and reset all of the settings, and started again. So far, so good. But I'm noticing that the numbers aren't nearly as crisp and easy to read as they were on the stretched canvas. So I stopped it again. I have no idea what is going on. I'm using their canvas, their pen, and the only thing I could think to do was turn the canvas over. Maybe there's a right side and a wrong side. But the same thing happened. It's drawing fine, it's just not clear. Even with Mama Requin in the room doubling the brain power, all we could come up with was trying to make the picture a little bit bigger. So I switched to the second sheet of canvas that was included and started again. If this doesn't work, I'm out of ideas. So I actually let the whole thing go for the hour and a half that it took to draw out the picture, after the 2 hours that I spent before this messing around with the design and the setup. And it's still really hard to read. And kinda messy looking, honestly. It's gotta be something that can be adjusted, because it printed so clearly at least one time. I made the picture as large as it would even let me create. I even tried to hold the canvas down for a bit to make sure that it was as flat as possible. So, I don't know, but I don't have another 4 hours to fiddle around with it. So, we're just gonna paint this. I'm gonna paint this using their paint and paintbrushes that they provided. I also downloaded that PDF the app creates with each design, and that PDF has a picture of what the completed paint by number should look like, and a line drawing with the numbers. Basically what it printed on the canvas. So I have that PDF pulled up on my computer just off camera. Now, even on the PDF, the numbers are really hard to read. So I actually spent a lot of time jumping back and forth between the two pictures to find a large section where I could read the numbers, and then using that to color match to other sections on the picture. Now, the numbers aren't the only issue with the drawing. The pen often goes back over the same line twice, but the line doesn't match up, so it looks like there's now a new, smaller section. I'm not sure if that's also the reason that sections don't look the same on the canvas as they do on the PDF. Now, the even more annoying thing is that the AI or whatever they use to turn your picture into a paint by number creates so many useless sections that could be one larger section. See right here, all of these section 11s? They all touch. What is the point of drawing all of these little squiggles with tiny little numbers when you could just print one larger section? I know that this machine is pretty new, and it seems like a lot of the problems are more with the software, or maybe just lack of information that's out there. So maybe that's something that will be fixed as updates happen or people are able to troubleshoot more. I'd be interested to see how much this improves down the road. For most of this painting, I'm just kind of ad-libbing a tiny bit with the spacing and the shapes. The paint, though, is a much easier thing to review. It's pretty standard acrylic paint and works about the same as every other paint by number I've done. It was still nice and juicy when I opened it, and it covered well, with the lighter colors needing a few more coats. I do want to eventually gift this painting to my niece, but I'm thinking about how I can jazz it up a little bit. Do I go back over and try to add a little bit of detail to it? Do I add a cool background? Maybe bubbles, since she was playing with bubbles in the picture? And how the heck do I mount this thing? Okay, I wanted to try one more time to see if I could get a better drawing result. So this time, I went into their library of pictures and chose this cute little puppy. It was already a vector image, so I didn't need to do any processing. I just chose paint by number and the 48 color set. This time, I'm going to use the heat erasable pen and one of their canvases. I just printed on the opposite corner as one of my mess ups from before. If the software could get the kinks worked out, I could see this machine being not only great for paint by number enthusiasts, but it could also be good for a small business making custom paint by number kits. I mean, the PDF that you download includes all of the colors and the RBG codes, so you could color match paint yourself to include. Also, the line drawing capabilities could be used for a lot of different things. Like the website talks about temporary tattoos and embroidery. So, like I said before, I'm actually really interested to see how well they update it as it rolls out more. After the puppy was fully drawn, it's still a little messy looking. The lines aren't perfectly traced over each other, and the numbers are still kind of hard to read. But I studied it really closely, and I don't see any of those areas where the same color is next to each other, but still separated by lines. So that's an improvement. I am going to paint this, but I didn't actually have time to finish with all of the other technical difficulties. So I'll post a picture on my community tab once I finish it. So what do you think of all of this? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.